Rise and shine, little keeper of the flame. Smoke has swaddled you before language ever did. The year is 509 CE. You're 7, and your lullabies are the smog of cedar and the hiss of fat flames. You belong to an Arthurian line, a family class of sacred priests. Here, priesthood isn't chosen, it's inherited like a Habsburg chin. Your mouth is gagged in white cloth so your breath doesn't corrupt the sacred fire. Even your sighs are considered too filthy for God. Your toys are ash, your playtime the bandaging of blisters. While the rest of the world is dealing in barbarian wars and papal schisms, you are being conditioned to be concerned with a much deeper purpose. A Zoroastrian flame bearer at the heart of Mesopotamia. The flame is eternal, or so they preach, but you learn quickly it's a needy child. 5 feedings a day, no excuses. Each one a small ceremony inside the Atashka, the fire sanctuary's beating heart. The priests call it the mouth of the world, the bridge between this realm and Ahura Mazda, Lord of Wisdom. Every ember is said to be a living witness, the one element too pure to lie, too sacred to touch what has died. For the same reason, the bodies of the dead are carried to stone towers beyond the city, left to the sun and to the circling vultures, because no corpse may defile the holy elements. The fire is the keeper of order, and order cannot abide rot. You feed it carefully. Dry tamarisks for strength, sandalwood for purity, bits of ghee for devotion, because this blaze isn't just heat, it's prayer made visible. Bring the wood too damp, and it spits back in your face like an insulted noble. Lay it crooked, and it sulks, smoke curling towards the vaulted ceiling, painted with stars no one's seen in daylight for a century. You begin to wonder if you are serving God or merely babysitting his fussiest messenger. Still, you bow, veil damp with your breath, whispering your verses until even your dreams burn in Avestan, the language of angels. At night, they dunk you in ritual baths until your skin stings, strip you of sleep, and hammer verses into your skull until your tongue cracks. They call it the Navar initiation. Sacred, exalted, but it feels more like waterboarding with incense. When they finally bind the white cedre and cinch the acoustic cord tight enough to bruise, childhood ends quietly, slipping out like smog under the temple doors. You grow into the fire's shadow. By 13, your voice carries weight enough to bless bread, to murmur prayers over the sick, to chant at funerals where dogs confirm death before men do. Your brassiere becomes an extension of your body, a small copper bowl glowing with the same stubborn light you serve. You carry it from house to house for blessings, a portable sun hissing and alive in your hands. Some bow as you pass, others spit into the dust, but all keep one eye on the flame, afraid of what it knows. Above the temple gate, the Faravahar stretches its stone wings, the winged spirit carved to remind every passerby that the soul must rise, must face forward toward light. Its eyes are blank, eternal, watching you haul wood and ash as though you're the one frozen in devotion. Some days, you swear the carving smirks, a god's joke chiseled in limestone at your expense. Time in the temple is circular. Sweep ash, feed flame, repeat. The fire whispers back when you're half asleep, and you can't decide if that means you're blessed or going mad. You start to notice how even the smallest creatures move with purpose. Beetles tracing perfect circles in the dust, temple cats paddling silently between columns, as if they too serve Asher in their own quiet way. When a rat darts past the altar, you no longer flinch, you simply nod, understanding that even it, in its hunger, obeys the law of creation. When sparks bite your wrist, you no longer curse. You watch the burn bloom like a lesson. Slowly, you become less boy, more vessel, moulded by fire and silence into something dangerously close to holy. Years slip by like ash through your fingers. You're 20 now, leaner, quieter, with a voice that trembles only from the weight of ritual. Outside the temple walls, another kind of sermon is catching flame. A reformer named Mazdak is gathering crowds in the squares, preaching that gold is worth no more than grain, that the earth's bounty belongs to all, not just to the rich who happen to pray the loudest. He says greed is the only true impurity, that men have mistaken hoarding for holiness, that even love has been fenced off and taxed. He dares to say women should not be property, that hunger is the worst sin, that justice must eat before luxury does. The poor call him a prophet, the wealthy call him a thief, the priests call him blasphemy made flesh. Mazdak's words are not dangerous because they're wrong, they're dangerous because they make too much sense. He threatens no one's life, only their comfort. For if the flame belongs to all, then who needs a priest to tend it? If goodness can live outside the temple, then what exactly is the temple for? You hear his name whispered like a spell, see his followers multiplying like sparks in dry straw. The clergy grow pale beneath their silks, sensing that the world is slipping from their hands. For a time, the king humours him, less out of pity than politics, trimming the nobles' arrogance with a bit of equality. But when Khosrow inherits the crown, tolerance curdles into terror. Mazdak's movement is declared heresy, and soon the word reformer is spoken with the same dread as traitor. You can feel it in the air, the empire tightening like a fist, ready to crush whatever dares to burn too bright. The air in Ctesiphon tastes of rain and iron. You've just left a home where you blessed a newborn no bigger than your palm, its lungs still learning how to belong to this world. The alley ahead is narrow, slick and waiting, a throat about to swallow. Torchlight bleeds across the brick, turning puddles to copper. Behind you, the whisper of sandals on stone. Heretic, someone growls. Mazdak's boy, another spits. You clutch the brazier to your ribs, absurd reflex of a faithful servant, still trying to protect the god's spark while your own is guttering out. For some reason, you've been mistaken for one of Mazdak's followers by a group of men who obviously aren't fans. You're surrounded. The first blade opens cloth, the second buries itself in flesh. You stagger and spill sparks across the cobbles. The fire sputters once, offended as your Kusti cord, once pure white, darkened into a carmine belt of failure. You try to shape the word Asher, but the air in your throat turns to metal. The last thing you see is a single ember, still glowing, stubborn, refusing to die. Unlike you. It's said that the soul lingers around the body for 3 days after passing, as if observing what will happen next. You got to see a different kind of tenderness that life did not permit you. Your body is never burned. To burn it would desecrate fire itself, nor buried, for that would defile the earth. Instead, you are carried by veiled hands to the Dakma, the tower of silence that crowns the hill. There, the body is offered to the sky. The sun bleaches you clean. The vultures finish what prayers began. The priests recite blessings, but never let the sacred flame come near. Purity must not taste of death. At dawn, the temple stirs. Another boy wakes, veil damp with his breath, fingers clumsy on the bundle of twigs. He stands where you once stood, small before the altar that remembers everyone and no one. The fire greets him as it greeted you, impartial, insatiable, eternal. And so it goes on. The blaze devours centuries, kings, prophets, heretics, and boys. It remembers none of their names, only the offering. Yet somewhere, deep in its orange heart, there's a spark that looks suspiciously like you, still glowing, still defiant, still refusing to die.